Far away beyond the bright stars and swirling galaxies, a small signal moved through space. It was weak and strange. Many powerful worlds ignored it. But humans, living on a rough planet called Earth, heard it clearly. On Earth, humans were different from most. They came from a harsh world full of danger. Their planet was called a death world. It was full of wild animals, terrible weather, and strong people who learned to fight to survive. Because of this, humans were tough, brave, and ready for anything. One night, deep in space, a human listening post floated silently. It was called the Watcher. Its job was to listen for strange sounds and signals from the stars. The people there worked in quiet rooms full of blinking lights and computers. Suddenly, a soft beep broke the silence. The machine showed a strange signal. It was not like anything they had heard before. The signal was full of fear and hope. It was a cry for help. Lieutenant Sarah Khan was the first to hear it clearly. She was young, but sharp and brave. Sarah stared at the screen. The message was old, but still strong enough to reach Earth. This signal, it is a distress call, Sarah said softly. Someone is asking for help. Her voice was calm but serious. The room filled with tension. The people at the Watcher looked at each other. They all knew a distress call meant trouble. Captain Amir Malik, the leader of the post, stood up. "Can we find where it comes from?" he asked. Sarah nodded. "Yes, sir. The signal is coming from the edge of the galaxy, a place no one has explored much." Amir's eyes grew hard. "We must find out who sent it, and why they are afraid." The message repeated again and again. Strange words mixed with a low, trembling sound. It was clear the sender was scared. They had no weapons, no power to fight. They were begging for help. Amir ordered the team to prepare a ship. "We send a small crew to find this place. Quietly, carefully. We do not know what waits for us." Within hours, the ship named the Pathfinder was ready. It was small but fast. Its crew was the best Earth had. Sarah, Amir, a scientist named Dr. Lee, a pilot called Jan, and a soldier named Marco. As they left Earth's orbit, the crew looked back at their home. The blue planet shone brightly in the darkness of space. Earth was strong, but this mission was different. They were going to an unknown danger. The journey was long. Days passed in silence, except for the ship's hum and the soft voices of the crew. Sarah studied the signal every day. She tried to understand the strange language. It was old and broken, but the meaning was clear. Help. One night, Jan, the pilot, looked out at the stars. "I never thought a small call like this could change everything," he said. Marco, the soldier, laughed quietly. "Humans don't back down. We answer every call, no matter how dangerous." Sarah smiled. "That's why we are Deathworlders." After many days, the Pathfinder reached the edge of the known galaxy, a dark area filled with silent stars and cold planets. Suddenly, the ship's sensors picked up a planet. It was strange. No light, no signs of life on the surface, just shadows and silence. "Is this where the signal came from?" Amir asked. "Yes," Sarah said. "But something is wrong. The planet looks dead." Amir's face tightened. "We land. We find the sender. We find out what happened." The crew prepared to land. The planet's surface was rough and broken. Dark skies hung low. The ship's engines hummed as it touched down carefully. Outside, the world was quiet. No animals, no wind, just dust and ruins. The cities were destroyed. Huge buildings lay in pieces. Machines were broken and silent. Sarah's heart beat fast. "Who could do this?" she whispered. The team moved carefully through the ruins. Every step was full of danger. They found strange marks, signs of battle and fire. Suddenly, a weak sound came from a hole in the ground. The team stopped. Sarah looked down and saw small hands waving for help. A group of thin, scared aliens crawled out. They were small and fragile. Their eyes were wide with fear. One of them, a small female, spoke softly in broken English. "Help. Please. The Empire." Sarah nodded. "Who attacked you? Why did you send the call?" The alien shook her head. Empire. They they take everything. We hide, scared. The crew listened. The aliens told a sad story. Their home was destroyed by a huge galactic empire. The empire was cruel and powerful. It used small worlds like theirs for war games and traps. Sarah looked at her team. This was bigger than they thought. The call for help was real, but it was also a warning. We have to tell Earth, Amir said. This empire must be stopped. Sarah looked up at the dark sky. A cold wind blew across the broken planet. She knew one thing for sure. The call they answered was just the start. A new war was coming, and the Deathworlders were ready. The human crew stood quietly on the broken planet's surface. The air was thin, cold, and dry. The sky was a dark gray with heavy clouds that never moved. It felt like the whole world was holding its breath. Nothing alive stirred around them except the weak whispers of the small alien survivors. Lieutenant Sarah, Khan looked carefully at the alien faces. They were scared but hopeful. These small beings had risked everything to send that call. Now they were in human hands. Captain Amir Malik spoke softly. Tell us everything. What happened here? The small alien leader, who called herself Lyra, began to speak in broken English. Her voice was low, trembling with fear and sadness. We lived here long time. Peaceful world, no wars. But Empire came. Big ships in sky. They burned cities, took our people. We hide. We send call. Hope someone help us. Sarah listened closely. What empire? What do you mean by took your people? Lyra's eyes filled with tears. Empire is strong. They use planets like chess pieces. They take weak ones. Use us for war games. Many die. The team shared worried looks. This was worse than they thought. Dr. Lee, the scientist, stepped forward. Do you have any weapons, any way to defend yourselves? Lyra shook her head. No. We small, no weapons, we only run. Marco, the soldier, tightened his grip on his rifle. We will protect you, but first we need to know what else is out here. Is anyone else alive? Any help coming? Lyra looked around nervously. No one else. We think Empire destroyed all. They want no witnesses. Sarah's heart sank. The signal was their last hope. If this small world was lost, how many others had fallen before? The humans made camp near the ruins. The small aliens stayed close, still trembling with fear. That night, Sarah stood outside looking at the stars. They were bright and cold. The galaxy was full of life and death. And now, this silent world was another secret of war. Her thoughts were interrupted by a sudden noise, distant, deep, like a low growl. The crew tensed. Marco raised his weapon. What was that? Jan asked, his voice tight. No idea, Amir said. Stay alert. The noise came again, louder this time. From the shadows between the ruined buildings, something moved. Sarah held her breath. A large creature appeared. It was strange. Taller than a human, but thin. Its skin was pale and smooth, almost shining. Its eyes glowed faintly in the dark. The creature watched the humans and aliens for a moment, then vanished into the shadows again. What was that? Lyra whispered. No idea, Sarah said. But we need to be careful. The next day, the crew explored the ruins deeper. They found signs of battle everywhere. Burned machines, shattered weapons, and strange symbols painted on walls. Dr. Lee studied the symbols. These belong to the Empire, he said. They mark conquered worlds. Sarah felt a cold anger inside. This empire was brutal, leaving no life behind. The call for help was a final scream before silence. Suddenly, the ship's radio beeped. Amir answered quickly. Earth Command, we have new orders. Enemy fleets detected near your location. Prepare for battle. The crew exchanged tense glances. The Empire knew they were here. They were coming. Amir looked at Sarah. Get ready. We may not be able to stay long. Sarah nodded. We came to help. We will not leave those aliens alone. That night, the humans prepared defenses. The small aliens watched, learning fast. They helped build simple shelters and traps. Sarah felt the weight of their hope. These fragile creatures believed in humans. She would not let them down. Then, a distant light appeared in the sky, thousands of stars burning as ships. The Empire's fleet was coming. The ground trembled beneath their feet. Sarah stood tall. This is only the beginning. We answer the call, and we fight. The silent planet was about to roar. The sky above the broken planet was dark and heavy. The human crew and the small alien survivors stayed close together. The distant lights of the approaching Empire ships flickered on the horizon, like the eyes of a great beast slowly closing. Inside an old underground bunker, Sarah, Amir, and the others sat around a dim light. The bunker was cold and cracked. Its walls were covered with strange symbols and marks from long ago. The humans knew they were deep in enemy territory. Lyra, the small alien leader, spoke softly. The Empire is not just a group of ships. It is many things. They rule with fear and lies. Sarah leaned forward. Tell us more. We need to know everything if we want to stop them. Lyra's voice was low, almost a whisper. The Empire takes planets and breaks them. They take strong warriors from many worlds. They force us to fight. Those who resist, they kill. Those who obey, they live, but only as slaves. Dr. Lee asked, why did your world send the distress call now? What changed? Lyra's eyes were distant. Before, we hoped others would protect us, but no one came. The Empire grew stronger. They took more planets. Then the Empire sent a message, one that scared us most. They said if anyone tried to help us, they would destroy them too. Sarah felt a chill. So this call was a last hope. A final cry in the dark. Yes, Lyra said. We were desperate. Marco stood up. Why hide underground? Why not fight? Lyra looked down. We are weak. Our weapons are broken. The Empire's machines are strong. They have fighters that destroy everything. We lost many. The silence was heavy. The truth was hard to hear. Suddenly a low rumble shook the bunker. Dust fell from the ceiling. What was that? Jan asked nervously. Amir moved to the entrance and looked outside. The Empire ships were closer now, dark shapes blotting out stars. We must be ready, Amir said. They will try to take this place. Sarah nodded. We need a plan. We cannot let them win. Lyra looked at the humans with hope. You are strong. Earth is strong. Maybe you can help. Sarah smiled faintly. We will try. But first we need to know more about the Empire. Dr. Lee examined some old data files found in the bunker's broken computer. The Empire's name is the Vokari. They are known for war and cruelty. They enslave many species and crush all resistance. Sarah frowned. Why haven't the other species fought back? Lyra shook her head. Fear. The Vokari are strong. They have weapons no one can stop. Many worlds have fallen silently. Sarah's heart burned. This was not just a fight for one planet. It was a battle for freedom. Suddenly a whisper came from the darkness. Who's there? Sarah asked, drawing her weapon. A small figure stepped forward, an alien child, no older than 10. His eyes were wide and scared. I heard the noise, he said. The Empire comes for us. Sarah knelt down. You're safe here. We will protect you. The child nodded, but didn't speak. As night deepened, the humans and aliens prepared. The bunker was a fortress, but it was old and fragile. Every sound outside made their hearts race. Sarah stood by the entrance, watching the empty darkness. She thought about Earth, her home planet, and the strength humans carried inside them. This mission was no longer just about saving a few lives. It was about stopping a shadow that was spreading across the stars. Suddenly, a loud explosion shook the ground. The entrance door rattled under heavy force. They're here! Marco shouted. The crew rushed to defend. The bunker shook as the Empire soldiers tried to break in. Sarah fired her weapon, holding the line. The battle was fierce but short. The humans and aliens pushed back the attackers. Breathing hard, Amir looked at his team. This was just a warning. They want us gone. Sarah nodded. Then we show them we won't leave. After the fight, Sarah gathered the crew. We need to send a message to Earth. The Vokari are stronger than we thought. They are cruel and powerful. But we are not afraid. Lyra spoke quietly. You are the first to fight back. We hope Earth sends more help. Sarah looked at the, small alien leader. We will. We will send everything we have. Outside, the stars shone cold and silent. The Empire's shadow was close. But inside the bunker, hope still burned bright. Sarah knew this was only the beginning of a long fight. But with every whisper in the dark, the truth grew clearer. When the Deathworlders answer a call for help, they bring not only mercy, but also fire. The quiet did not last long. The cold planet, once silent and broken, was now alive with tension and fear. Sarah, Amir, and their crew had no time to rest. The Vokari Empire was closing in and the first battles were about to begin. Inside the bunker, the humans and aliens worked fast. They repaired old machines and built new defenses from broken parts scattered in the ruins. The small aliens learned quickly. Though fragile, they were determined to fight for their homes. Sarah walked among them, giving quiet orders. Set traps. Here, watch the sky for ships. Keep the children safe. Amir studied the maps on the table. The Vokari will attack from the north. Their fleet is large, but we can use the ruins to our advantage. Dr. Lee nodded. Their ships are fast, but not very strong close to the ground. We can fight them here. Marco checked his weapons. I'm ready to fight. The mood was grim, but strong. Everyone knew this was their last chance. Suddenly, a loud alarm filled the bunker. Lights flashed red. The Vokari ships appeared in the sky, dark and massive. They're coming, Jan shouted, running to his pilot seat in the small ship docked nearby. Sarah's heart pounded. The battle was about to begin. Outside, the first wave of Vokari fighters swooped down like dark birds. Their weapons fired bright beams that cut through the dusty air. The humans and aliens fired back from the ground, their weapons lighting the dark sky. Sarah stood with Marco on a high wall, firing at the enemy ships. The air was filled with noise. Explosions, shouting, the hum of engines. Keep firing, Sarah yelled. Don't let them land. The small aliens fought bravely. Though they had no strong weapons, they used traps and clever moves to slow the enemy. Lyra was in the middle of the fight, shouting orders. Trap here. Watch that corner. Amir controlled the defense from the bunker, giving orders and coordinating attacks. The battle was fierce. The humans' skills and the aliens' knowledge of the land made the Vokari's attack harder than expected. But the enemy was powerful. Their ships kept coming in waves, their soldiers ready to destroy everything. Sarah saw one Vokari ship crash into a building, sending dust and fire into the sky. She felt a surge of hope. We can win this, she said quietly. But then the ground shook with a massive explosion nearby. The enemy had used a new weapon, a giant machine that burned everything in its path. Marco cursed. They brought heavy weapons. We need to stop that machine. Sarah nodded. Jan, can you get close enough to destroy it? Jan's face was serious. I'll try. With a roar, Jan's ship took off, flying fast between enemy fire. Sarah watched, holding her breath as he dove toward the giant machine. Jan fired his missiles. The machine shook and caught fire but did not stop. Suddenly it fired back, hitting Jan's ship. The small fighter exploded in a ball of flames. No, Sarah shouted, heartbreaking. The crew saw Jan's ship crash far away. Amir's face was hard. We lost him. The battle turned worse. The Vokari pushed forward, their heavy machines breaking through defenses. Sarah clenched her fists. We cannot lose. We must hold this ground. Lyra came to her side. We will fight with you, Sarah, for our homes. Sarah smiled sadly. Together. Hours passed like a nightmare. The humans and aliens fought with everything they had. Their weapons were low, their energy fading. But they held the line. Then, something strange happened. From the distant sky, a new light appeared. Fast and bright, it moved like a comet toward the battlefield. "Look," Amir shouted. "More ships." Sarah's eyes widened. "Reinforcements." The new ships were Earth's warships, fast and armed with powerful weapons. They fired at the Vokari ships, pushing them back. The Vokari retreated, their ships breaking away into the dark sky. The battlefield fell quiet. Sarah felt relief, but knew this was only the start. The cost was high. Jan was gone and many others were hurt, but they had stopped the first wave. Back in the bunker, the crew gathered. Amir spoke with pride and pain. "We fought well today, but the Empire will return, stronger." Sarah nodded. "We must prepare. This war will test everything." Lyra looked at the humans with respect. "You fight like Deathworlders. We will stand with you." Sarah smiled. "That's who we are. When someone calls for help, Deathworlders answer with fire." Outside, the dark planet seemed less quiet. The flames of war had begun. The night was cold and dark, but inside the bunker, the air was thick with tension. The humans and the small aliens worked silently, repairing damage from the last battle and preparing for what was sure to come next. Sarah sat beside the broken communications console. Her fingers moved over the cracked screen, trying to send a message back to Earth. The signal was weak. Interference from the planet's strange atmosphere made communication difficult. "Captain," Dr. Lee said, entering the room with a worried look. "The Vokari are adapting quickly. They studied our fight. They will change their tactics." Sarah sighed. "We knew this war wouldn't be easy." Amir walked in behind them. His face was grim. "We lost good people today. John, he was brave. But we can't let his sacrifice be in vain." Sarah nodded. "We owe it to them to keep fighting, but we need to understand the enemy better." Lyra approached, her eyes shadowed with worry. "The Vokari are not just soldiers. They use spies, saboteurs. They have many ways to break us." Sarah looked up sharply. "Do you think they're here inside the bunker?" Lyra shook her head slowly. "I don't know. But we must be careful. Trust is fragile now." The crew exchanged uneasy looks. The thought of enemies hiding among them was chilling. Sarah stood up. "We need more security. Double patrols, check everyone." Marco nodded, already heading out to organize guards. That night, Sarah walked the dim halls of the bunker, her senses alert. The shadows seemed alive, whispering secrets she could not hear. Suddenly, she heard a soft noise, a faint scraping sound from one of the storage rooms. She moved quietly, weapon ready. Inside the room, a figure crouched by the crates. It was a small alien, one of the survivors. "Who are you?" Sarah demanded. The alien jumped, eyes wide. "I didn't mean to scare you, I was looking for food." Sarah lowered her weapon slowly. "You should ask. We can't afford mistakes." The alien nodded. "I'm sorry," Sarah sighed. "Be careful. We don't know who to trust." Back in the command room, Amir was studying new data from Dr. Lee. The Vokari use bioweapons, viruses that can kill entire populations. Sarah's eyes widened. "If they use those here, we could lose everyone." Lyra's voice was barely a whisper. "That is why they want to destroy us all. No survivors, no witnesses." The crew felt the weight of those words. This was more than a battle. It was a fight for survival. Suddenly, the bunker shook with a loud explosion. Alarms blared. "They're attacking!" Marco shouted. The crew rushed to the walls. Outside, the Vokari were back, this time with new weapons and more soldiers. The fight was brutal. The humans and aliens used every trick to defend the bunker, but the Vokari pressed harder. Sarah fired her rifle, moving through the chaos. She spotted a group of enemy soldiers trying to breach the main door. "Marco, with me," she yelled. They fought side by side, pushing the attackers back. But then a new horror appeared. Vokari biosoldiers covered in strange armor emerged from the shadows. Their bodies glowed faintly with a sick green light. These are the bioweapons, Dr. Lee shouted. Stay away. The bio-soldiers moved fast, attacking without mercy. The crew fought desperately. Sarah saw one of the small aliens fall, poisoned by a strange blade. No. Lyra screamed, rushing to help. The battle raged for hours. The bunker walls were battered, but the defenders held strong. At dawn, the Vokari retreated, leaving behind broken machines and fallen soldiers. Sarah looked around at her team, tired, wounded but alive. We survived, Amir said quietly. Yes, Sarah replied, but the war has changed. The Vokari will stop at nothing. She turned to Lyra. We must find a way to fight back harder, to strike at the heart of the Empire. Lyra nodded. There is a place far from here, a hidden base where the Vokari keep their weapons and prisoners. Sarah's eyes shone with determination. Then that is where we go next. We take the fight to them. The crew prepared for a dangerous mission. The shadows of the enemy were deep and deadly, but the humans and their new allies would not run. They would face the darkness and then burn it away. The cold wind cut through the ruined landscape as Sarah and her team prepared to leave the bunker. Their faces were tired, their bodies bruised, but their spirits burned stronger than ever. The time had come to take the fight to the enemy. We don't know exactly what we will find, Sarah said, looking at the small alien leader Lyra, but if the weapons and prisoners are there, we must get them out. Lyra nodded. It will be dangerous. The Vokari protect their secrets well. Amir checked the maps again. The base is deep inside a mountain range, difficult to reach. We will need stealth. Marco loaded his weapons, his jaw tight. I'm ready to fight anyone who stands in our way. Dr. Lee packed medical supplies carefully. We don't know what kinds of injuries or diseases we might face. Sarah looked at her team and smiled faintly. We are not just fighting for ourselves. We fight for all who suffer under the Empire. The group moved quietly through the ruins, avoiding patrols and sensors. The sky was dark, clouds heavy with the promise of rain. At night they made camp in a small cave. Around the fire they shared stories of Earth, of home. Sarah saw the hope growing in their eyes. But sleep was short. Danger waited just beyond the firelight. The next day, as they neared the mountains, the terrain grew rough and treacherous. Rocks shifted underfoot, and strange sounds echoed in the deep valleys. Suddenly, a warning tone from Amir's scanner broke the silence. Enemy patrol ahead, he whispered. Sarah motioned for silence. They hid behind a large boulder, watching as a small group of Vokari soldiers passed. Stay low, Sarah whispered. We move when they're gone. The patrol disappeared into the shadows, and the team moved forward, hearts pounding. At last, the entrance to the hidden base appeared, a dark hole carved into the mountain. Thick metal doors sealed the way. Lyra studied the locks. This will not be easy, Sarah nodded. We need to get inside without alerting them. Dr. Lee worked quickly with his tools. I can try to hack the controls. Give me a few minutes. As Dr. Lee worked, Sarah kept watch. The mountain was silent but full of threat. Suddenly the door hissed open. We're in, Dr. Lee said softly. Inside, the air was cold and heavy. The walls were metal and smooth, lit by strange red lights. The team moved carefully, weapons ready. The base was bigger than they expected. Long corridors, many rooms, strange machines humming quietly. Lyra led the way to a control room. We may find prisoners here. Sarah's heart raced as they entered. Inside, they found rows of small cells holding weak and frightened aliens, survivors like Lyra's people. We have to free them, Sarah whispered. Marco began unlocking the cells while Amir guarded the door. As the prisoners were released, a soft murmur of hope spread through the room. But their escape was not easy. Alarms suddenly blared, echoing through the corridors. They know we're here, Amir shouted. Footsteps thundered nearby. Vokari soldiers were coming. Prepare to fight, Sarah ordered. The team moved quickly to defend the prisoners and themselves. The hallways became a battlefield. Blasts of energy lit the dark corridors. Sarah fired her rifle, pushing forward. Lyra and her freed people fought with desperate courage. The prisoners, weak but willing, joined the fight. Amir covered their retreat while Marco and Dr. Lee helped the injured. As they moved through the base, Sarah found the weapons cache. Strange machines pulsing with energy. These must be the bioweapons, Dr. Lee said, studying them. Sarah nodded. We destroy these. No more innocent lives lost. She set charges on the machines, timing the explosions carefully. The team raced back to the entrance as the base began to shake. Outside, the sky was darkening with storm clouds. Lightning flashed. Just as they reached safety, the base erupted. In a massive explosion, flames and smoke shot into the sky. Sarah looked back, feeling a heavy weight in her chest. They had struck a blow, but the war was far from over. We did good today, Lyra said softly. But the Empire will not forget. Sarah turned to her team, eyes burning with fierce determination. We will be ready. This is only the beginning. The storm broke, rain pouring down, washing the blood and dust from the earth. But inside, the fire of hope and defiance burned brighter than ever. The morning after the explosion, the air was heavy and cold. The rain had washed the ground clean, but the battle's mark stayed deep in Sarah's mind. They had struck a hard blow to the Vokari Empire's secret base, but the cost was clear. Many of the small aliens they had freed were weak and scared. Their hope was fragile. Sarah stood at the edge of the camp, watching the survivors. Children clung to their mothers, and some adults tended to wounds with careful hands. It was a small victory in a war that seemed endless. We have done well, Amir said softly, coming beside her. But the Empire will come back stronger and angrier. Sarah nodded, tightening her grip on her rifle. I know. They will send more ships, more soldiers, and they will try to break our spirits. Lyra approached, her face serious but calm. We will not break. Our people have waited too long for freedom. Sarah smiled faintly. You are strong, Lyra. You give us hope. The team gathered in the bunker to plan their next steps. The stolen weapons were destroyed, but the Vokari's power was far from broken. Dr. Lee spread out new reports on the table. The Vokari have fleets near other planets, he said. They are preparing for war on many fronts. Sarah's eyes narrowed. We must warn Earth. They need to be ready. Amir frowned. Communications are still weak. The planet's atmosphere makes signals unreliable. Sarah thought hard. Then we find a way. We cannot let Earth be blind to what is coming. Suddenly, a young alien messenger rushed into the room. Captain, scouts report a large Vokari fleet moving toward us. The room fell silent. The warning was clear. The Empire was coming for them. Sarah stood tall. We will fight. We will protect every life here. The next days were filled with preparation and tension. The survivors built stronger defenses. Humans trained the small aliens to use new weapons and tactics. Sarah spent long hours in the command room, studying battle plans and talking with Earth. The war was no longer far away. It was at their door. One evening, as Sarah walked outside, she felt the strange quiet before a storm. The sky glowed with the light of distant ships. A warning alarm sounded. The Vokari fleet was here. Outside, the ground shook as massive warships descended, dark shadows against the sky. The humans and their allies rushed to their positions. Sarah's heart pounded. The battle was about to begin. The fight was fierce. The Vokari ships fired beams that lit the sky. Explosions rocked the ground as soldiers clashed. Sarah moved through the chaos, leading her team. Hold the line! Protect the people! Marco fought bravely at her side, firing at the enemy with steady hands. Lyra rallied her people, their small forms darting through the battlefield with skill and courage. But the Vokari were relentless. Their new weapons burned through walls and shields. Sarah saw friends fall, their faces pale in the smoke. Keep fighting, she yelled, refusing to give in. The battle stretched for hours, both sides battered and bleeding. At one moment, a Vokari warship fired a massive blast at the bunker. Entrance. The explosion threw Sarah to the ground. Pain burned in her leg, but she pushed herself up. We cannot lose here, she said, gritting her teeth. Suddenly, from the sky came Earth's warships, sleek and powerful. Their weapons fired with precision, hitting the Vokari ships hard. The tide of battle shifted. The Vokari began to retreat, their ships pulling away. Sarah breathed deeply. They had survived, but victory came with a price. The camp was filled with wounded and grieving. Jan's name was spoken often, the pilot who had died early in the war. Sarah visited the injured, her heart heavy. "We fight for them," she told the survivors. "For every life lost, we fight harder." Lyra stood beside her. "This war will change us all," Sarah nodded, "and we will rise from the ashes." That night, as the stars shone over the battered land, Sarah looked up. The galaxy was still vast and dangerous, but Earth had answered the call, and the Deathworlders had awakened. The stars above shone cold and distant, but on the battered planet, below, a new hope was beginning to burn. Sarah stood on a ridge looking out over the battlefield. The war had been brutal. Many lives were lost. Many wounds were still fresh. But something deeper had awakened in the hearts of those who fought. "This is not the end," Sarah said softly to herself. "It is only the beginning." The humans and their alien allies had faced the Vokari Empire's darkest power and survived. The warships from Earth had turned the tide, but more was coming. The small aliens, once broken and frightened, now stood taller. Lyra and her people had found strength in unity, and in the fierce courage of the humans who fought beside them. Sarah remembered the first call, the SOS that had echoed through the galaxy. It was a call for help, but it had done more than that. It had awakened the Deathworlders. The Deathworlders, humans who had been shaped by harsh worlds, by endless battles, by survival against impossible odds, had come to fight. And when they fought, they brought a storm no enemy could stop. Inside the camp, the mood was tense but hopeful. The wounded were healing, the survivors rebuilding. Sarah and her team worked tirelessly to plan their next move. "We need to take the fight to the Vokari homeworld," Amir said during a meeting. Sarah nodded. "Yes. We cannot wait for them to come here again. We must end this war." Lyra looked uncertain. "Their homeworld is heavily guarded. Even the Vokari fear it." Dr. Lee tapped his tablet. "We have some new technology from Earth. Stealth, ships, advanced weapons. We can surprise them." Sarah's eyes gleamed. "Then we prepare. We gather all we have." The team spent days repairing ships, training pilots, and gathering allies. The small aliens grew stronger, learning from human tactics and technology. One evening, as Sarah stood near the command center, a message came from Earth. "Captain Sarah, the Council authorizes a full strike on the Vokari homeworld. You lead the fleet." Sarah felt a surge of pride and responsibility. This was the moment she had prepared for. "We will not fail," she said to her team. The journey to the Vokari homeworld was long and dangerous. The fleet moved silently through space, hiding from patrols and sensors. Sarah sat in the command chair, her hand steady on the controls. "We are close," Amir said. Lyra stood beside her. "The fate of many rests on this." As the fleet approached, the Vokari defenses sprang to life. Warning alarms blared. Enemy ships poured from hidden bases. The battle was fierce. Explosions rocked the void, but the humans and their allies fought with unyielding strength. Sarah's voice was calm but fierce. "Hold formation, fire when ready." Stealth ships slipped past the main defenses, striking vital targets. The Deathworlders showed why they were feared: relentless, fearless, and unstoppable. Inside the heart of the Vokari homeworld, Sarah led a strike team to the control center. The halls were dark and cold, but the enemy was ready. The fight was brutal. Vokari soldiers attacked with deadly weapons and traps. Sarah moved with skill and speed, firing her rifle, dodging blasts. At last, they reached the control room. Sarah placed charges to destroy the Empire's command systems. "Time to go," she shouted. The team raced back as the base exploded behind them. Outside, the battle ended with the Vokari fleet retreating, broken and defeated. The Deathworlders had won. But Sarah knew the war had changed them all. The galaxy would never be the same. As the fleet returned to the battered planet, Sarah looked at her team. "We answered the call," she said. "We fought with all our strength. And we awakened something more in the spirit of the Deathworlders." Lyra smiled. "We are free." Sarah nodded. "And we will protect that freedom, together." The stars shone bright once more. The war was over, but a new era had begun.